There's been a lot of Black Tusk activity around that metro entrance.
Engage!
Bored as hell.
I heard something.
I'll monitor from here.
Clear. One of them has a taxi! Find us! Let them get close!
Liquid DC-62 detected.
Oh no. The DC-62 you see on the streets lost some potency over time and exposure to weapons. But this stuff is fresh. Black Tusk must have found a stockpile at
Terminal detected.
Transmit any data you recover, so we can try to figure out what Black Tusk is up to. Data received.
Targeted.
There's a map of the tunnel system here. Looks like we were right about their intentions.
Request priority transport from the plaza. Should have all the barrels ready soon.
Bored as hell.
Tossing an EMP!
Attacking the enemy!
Engaging topside! But...
No! Nothing's going on here.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
Get to the plaza.
Deco is up and running!
You're watching Random Place. This is Radio Gamer back on track, loud and clear. Today we are taming the beast. We all know that the Backfire Exotic SMG hits like a truck, but that bleed on reload, it's usually a death sentence. But not today. I've put together a build that hits 99% hazard protection, meaning we can ignore the bleed entirely and keep that massive critical hit damage buff 100% of the time. We're combining the Deathgrips, Force Survivability, and the Hollowman mask for damage, and the Ninjabike Backpack to tie it all together. So just to get the hang of it, let's get started. For the specialization, Gunner is mandatory for the setup for a few reasons. Armor and Kill gives us a passive 10%, but on this build, we'll get a total of 30. Ammo supply, the Backfire eats ammo. Gunner regenerates ammo for us, so we never run dry. Weapons. Centerpiece of the build, Backfire. Every bullet deals massive crit damage and it got insane burst scaling, but it applies bleed when you reload. That self-bleed is what ruins most builds, but no worries, no panic reload deaths on this. To counter that, instead of fighting it with random bleed mods, we will apply full hazard protection on this build. Gears. Up top, we're running the yellow mask named item, the Hollowman. Why? Because of that 14% health damage attribute. This is a multiplicative damage that shreds Chungus and Robotics. Also, this is our first source of Hasbro, which is 10%. On this piece, I have 154,000 armor, 14% health damage, rerolled for 10% hazard protection, and a mod slot for 9% bleed resistance. Chest. For the chest, we have a 511 tactical piece. Talent is the one that I rerolled on this piece since I got good attributes. And we're running Obliterate since Backfire is an SMG. We're maxing out those crit stacks instantly for pure weapon damage. On this piece, I have 154,000 armor, 12% crit damage, 6% crit chance, and a mod slot for 12% crit damage. Holster. For this holster, we get an Uzi Nagatica. I got some decent attributes, crit damage, and weapon handling. This could have been better if you got a hazard protection, but I'll take that 8% weapon handling to reroll this piece for a full 15% weapon damage. So basically on this build, we will unlock the trifecta on the two brand sets we have equipped, 30% coming from 511 Tactical, and another 30 from Uzi Nagatica. And we will make that possible with the Ninjabike Backpack. Equipping this bag is still a discussion as most people rather prefer damage talent than the bonus brand set. But for me, with Backfire, you shall be sufficient with the damage. You only have to cure that bleed. So this exotic bag is pretty straightforward. It just fulfills the next brand set tier for you. I got full rolls of armor and weapon damage. We shall also not forget that additional 10% weapon damage from the Yell brand set. On this piece, I have put a red mod slot for 11.9% crit damage. Gloves. Another essential gear on our loadout, the Deathgrips. The key stat on this piece is the fixed 10% armor and kill. This could go better if you got Hasbro or crit chance on it. I have headshot damage to reroll a full 15% weapon damage. So even without the Hasbro attribute, I still achieved the 99% hazard protection, so you're still good. Then again, because of Ninjabike, we all get that 30% health, 30% incoming repairs, and 30% hazard protection. Kneepads. This would be our second Uzi na piece to also get another valuable 30% hazard protection. And along with it is 5% total armor, 10% armor and kill. Remember 10% from Gunner, 10% from Deathgrips, and 10% from this Uzi na brand set. Therefore, you'll be sitting for 30 and that is around 400,000 armor and kill. So you eliminate at least 3 NPCs and you're in absolute full armor. On this piece, I have 9.5 hazard protection, 11.4% crit damage, rerolled for 15% weapon damage. Skills. First up, I chose Scanner Pulse. We're playing close range with an SMG. Situational awareness is king. This lets us see exactly where the enemies are spawning so we can position ourselves to spawn trap them and keep our armor and kill triggering. Also, we can immediately locate those Red War NPCs when needed. Second would be the Reviver Hive. This is the safety net. We are face tanking heavily on this build. If you get surrounded or caught in a reload, the Hive picks you right back up so you don't lose your momentum or your decaying 10 seconds backfire stacks. Last but not the least is the preview of our stats. That's it for the video. If you like it, please give a thumbs up and please do subscribe to my channel. I will really appreciate it for more upcoming videos. Once again, you're watching Random Plays. This is Radio Gamer. Over and out.